Major League Baseball came to Arizona in 1947 when the then Cleveland Indians started playing some spring training games in Tucson and convinced the then New York Giants to play some games in Phoenix.
A federal court held a final hearing today in a landmark case that would fundamentally change the landscape of college athletics.
And while she won't need the focus to hit something, let's say like an apple, it will be important for her to try to keep that focus up on the global stage. Long before his NBA career, Iguodala would walk through these doors here at Chandler Library's Sunset Branch and spend multiple afternoons with his sister reading. Gandy's hire makes up just 1/4 of the Arizona coaching carousel that's seen a lot of changes and turnover already this offseason. Not only did Gomez hit 4 field goals in Arizona State's 27-24 win over Baylor, he emerged as a hero. A hero for a Sun Devil side that needed one after the special team struggles of last year. Now the teams in the tournament are focusing on one thing, and that's the bracket. They want to make it to the end and win the All-City Softball Tournament. But for Fired Up and some of their players, they want to just have fun, showcase their personality, and get away from their daily lifestyle. After losing 49-7 to Arizona State last year, Arizona came to Mountain America Stadium not looking for pity, but for revenge, and that's what they got, beating the Sun Devils 23-7. Since becoming the home of Sun Devil hockey in 2022, Mullet Arena has played host to massive events, nail-biting games, sudden death winners, even moments that bring people to tears. It's enchanted, dare I say magical. April 25th might be the perfect date for some. It definitely was for Arizona State as it beat BYU 12-4 at Phoenix Municipal Stadium. More importantly, it got another home series win on the weekend. Head coach Greg Powers has multiple freshmen joining his squad, but he's also tapped into the potential of junior league players across the United States and Canada, many of them taking the next step of their career here in Tempe. What has been a little bit puzzling and even surprising has been the growth across the entire East Valley, with Chandler even playing and hosting inter-city tournaments. Now the Diamondbacks players have voiced their opinions about the Torpedo Bats. Jake McCarthy saying earlier this week that at first glance it seemed pretty funny, but now he thinks that they are pretty cool. How much would you say that created a national brand of soccer? You know, up until this point, you have two different brands from two different backgrounds. They now join together, and now you're having teams and cities from all over the nation playing each other.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. It helps to knit together the tapestry that is American soccer history. They tried to be strategic and place, the semifinals and the finals in soccer-loving communities, soccer towns, as we like to say, where you had, hopefully interested parties because their team was playing, but then others just wanted to see a high-level game.
This is your third year with Phoenix Rising, your first as a starter after Rocco Rios Novo left for Inter Miami. How has it been like getting into that starting role?
I mean, obviously that's why you play soccer, right? Like, you don't play to just sit and watch games, you want to play. So I'm really enjoying the time right now. Appreciating the trust, obviously, from the team, trying just to pay it back with good performances.
How much confidence did you have in that moment that Major League Soccer would grow into what it is today?
It was one step at a time. Let's get it launched. Let's move it along. I think our early projections were to target attendance of in the high teens. Obviously, we're above that now. As I said, I didn't have a vision of, I'm going to look down the road 30 years, and we're going to have, 30 clubs and have the average attendance I'm talking about and the standing in the world that we do. But I did have confidence that the league would be successful.
We talked about the positioning of this team right now. You say it's the best it's ever been, and yet you guys won a championship a couple of years ago. Why do you say that?
It's different than anywhere else. Here you need to be in the playoffs. It's about who's the hottest at the end. Looking at us 2 years ago, were we the best team? I don't think so. Were we the hottest team at this moment? Yes, definitely. You knew you give us 3 minutes at the end, we will score. If you are not there, we'll score. Looking at Emmy's 2 goals, looking at Formella in San Diego, looking at John Stenberg in Charleston, the games were over, basically. But we didn't give up. We knew we need one shot and we're going to score. So it's not anywhere else, like in Germany or name it, that you need a really good season all over the year. No, you need to make the playoffs. I feel like we are getting the numbers back. We're going to get power, so hopefully we're going to get really hot at the end.
The sights and sounds of spring training, the players, the lawns, the opportunities, and a chance to dive into the past.
Most people know at the national level, they'll know a little bit about Jackie Robinson. right? They'll know a little bit about the Negro League, Satchel Paige and, Josh Gibson, people like that. But they won't know about the history here in Arizona.
That history started in the 1890s with teams like the Buffalo Soldiers, also known as the 25th Infantry, along with the Tempe Crimson.
Because Arizona became a state in 1914, right around that time or even just a little bit before that, it was fairly integrated society.
Major League Baseball came to Arizona in 1947 when the then Cleveland Indians started playing some spring training games in Tucson and convinced the then New York Giants to play some games in Phoenix, overall giving more opportunities to African-American baseball players, knowing the racial makeup of State 48 at the time.
Those two owners were catalysts in integration. They were aggressively signing black players. They wanted this to happen.
It was a white over black or white over non-white sort of situation, but the race relations here were not as violent as they were in the South, and it was a bit more fluid.
But hotels were still segregated, so African-American players stayed in small houses nearby. In Phoenix, that meant being close to the Elks Lodge, St. Monica's Church, and the former George Washington Carver High School, which now holds the history of African-Americans in Arizona.
There was a lot of allies. Thankfully, they met some allies in Arizona that kind of helped this process along.
Historical preservation of these buildings are common but not complete in these neighborhoods. This was the house where Willie Mays stayed in 1952, and this is what it looks like now. Another commercial building. An example of how the past may not always be preserved.
Just because you maybe stayed somewhere, seasonally, or visited somewhere, that's typically doesn't meet the threshold for historic significance.
As Major League Baseball players celebrate Jackie Robinson Day, there is still room for improvement.
Literally, the field labor are the people of color. And some folks might say, how are you referring to field labor? I mean, these are multimillionaires. I understand that. I'm just talking about the racial dynamic mirrors what we saw 100 years ago.
But the legacy of the players here in Arizona will be remembered.
By their presence, Larry Doby, Ernie Banks, Monty Irvin, Willie Mays, the first wave of black players, all former Negro Leagues players, all Hall of Famers. Those guys' presence in Arizona integrated not just baseball in Arizona, but certain aspects of society.
In Phoenix, Mihir Sinhasan, Cronkite News.
ASU up 20-16 with 7:31 remaining in the first half as we welcome you back to Arizona State University at Desert Financial Arena. Sun Devils looking to move to 10-6 on the 2025-26 season. Mihir Sinhasan, Rome Katie, back with you on the Blaze Radio online mixler. Arizona State starting to get a bit of confidence here, Rome.
There's a lot of flow with the Sun Devil offense and defense as well. They're really looking more well-rounded than they did on Wednesday night. It seemed like there was a lot of transformations that were made in the coming days leading up to this game.
Inbound pass for Kansas State in the all-purple, moving from left to right. Getting forward here, Nate Johnson with a deep left wing three. It spins out, rebound down low by Dorian Buca. His put away is in with the left hand.
Yeah, the tall Italian there getting the job done over Jop. Again, that battle in the trenches is going to be key the rest of the way.
Noah Mayusin, the Belgian, in the bright green shoes, taking it forward for Arizona State, guarded by P.J. Haggerty. Mayusin lofts it over towards Truitt, also beyond the arc. Back towards Mayusin, the Argentine in Belgium trying to link up. So here comes Mason again. No look pass right towards Truitt in the left corner. 6 to shoot for Arizona State. Truitt back in on the baseline, trying to loft it towards Mayusin. It's intercepted by Kansas State. Haggerty going the other way, blocked by Johnson from behind. Here comes Pig Johnson and Arizona State the other way as Pig Johnson drives towards the cup. A foul is called on Nate Johnson of Kansas State. The foul will be on the floor, but either way, Pig Johnson back at the line.
Unbelievable effort on both ends from Pig Johnson. It seemed like on that steal, Nate Johnson lobbed that one up to P.J. Haggerty, who was cherry-picking on the back end. And then out of nowhere, you see this gold shirt of Pig Johnson start flying in the paint, gets that chase-down block, and on the other end just sprints back on that offensive end and is able to draw the foul and get 2 free throws. Unbelievable effort from Pig.
Pig Johnson known for free points as his free throw is up and in. So he gets a second one off of that. Pig Johnson coming into this game, 14.7 points, 3 rebounds, 1.9 assists, and 1.2 steals as Masama Jop will check out and Mo Odom, the Sun Devils' leading scorer, will check back in. Johnson, a machine from the line today and this entire season. A second free throw
is also in. 7 points a day for Pig Johnson, the NIIA transfer. He is now 5 for 6 from the line on this Saturday afternoon as Haggerty pushes down the left lane, gets a floater up and in. Count it, and the foul for P.J. Haggerty, who was fouled in the air, gets a right-handed floater up from 10 feet and has a chance to complete the three-point play.
Yeah, we haven't heard P.J. Haggerty's name a lot in this one. He's only scored 5 points and on 2 of 6 shooting and 1 of 2 from 3. He's usually one that lights up the score sheet on a nightly basis, but we'll see if he can get it going later on today.
Haggerty's free throw juggles in. It's 22-21 Sun Devils, 6:30 remaining in this first half. Mo Odom taking it forward, bouncing the ball with his left hand, slings it over towards Mayusin, past the timeline. Now Odom controlling at the pitchfork, out towards Truitt, now towards Johnson. Sun Devils trying to set up shop here at the top of the key. Out towards Odom, ref had to get out of the way. And here comes Odom again, trying to set up shop. 8 to shoot for the Sun Devils. Slung out towards Johnson. Deep right wing, 3 juggles out. Rebounded by Truitt. Down low. Reset for the Sun Devils. Truitt looking for options out towards Mayusin. His pass blocked away. Here comes Kansas State and P.J. Haggerty. Down the left lane, pushing Pig Johnson out of the way. His left-hand layup is off the mark. Went right into the nylon. But either way, a foul is called on Arizona State.
Yeah, and otherwise on that foul, ASU's done a good job of not fouling while they're defending, but that time just got a little bit too handsy on that layup attempt from P.J. Haggerty.
Yeah, and Pig Johnson trying to recreate what he did just a few moments ago, too, blocking from behind, and instead he shoves Haggerty from behind, specifically in the lower back, as Haggerty's first free throw is up and in. Andrei Gribovich will check in for Johnson for Arizona State. He'll be in the right lane, right next to Doreen Buka of Kansas State, Alan Mukeba on the other side for ASU. Haggerty's second free throw juggles out, rebound by Truitt. Mayusin over towards Odom, ASU pushing the pace. Odom keeps control on the right lane. His floater is in. Mo Odom trying to energize this crowd as the Sun Devils lead 24-22. Back comes Kansas State the other way as Taj Manning's shot is blocked by Santiago Truitt. Nonetheless, Manning heads to the line for 2.
Yeah, Truitt tried to get that block there. It looked like he had all ball first, but then his arm touched the arm of Taj Manning, which allowed the refs to call that foul there. But it looks like Kansas State's trying to get their mojo back as well. They're kind of starting to fly around too, make good plays as well. So we'll see how they kind of go on a run here later on in this half as well.
Manning's free throw is in. As Masamba Diop will check in for Santiago Truitt for ASU. Pig Johnson calling out some calls from the sideline as Bobby Hurley in the maroon quarter zip and black pants looks on, also from ASU's bench.
It's good to see that Mukeba's in the game after being shaken up earlier.
Manning's free throw off the mark, but it will be redone. Lane violation called on Arizona State. This is big for both sides. 5:36 remaining in the first half. Wildcats down 24-23 against the host Sun Devils. And now Santiago Truitt will be back in the game for Gribovich. Doreen Buka will head to the backcourt for Kansas State. Manning's free throw, take 2, is in. We're tied at 24.